Welcome back to the Nash Potatoes Outdoor Show. Today, I wanted to do a quick product review on this new DJI Mini 3 drone that I recently purchased on eBay. I bought an open box unit for $4.99. I got the unit that has the remote control with a screen on it, which I would highly recommend. If you buy the standard remote with no screen, then you actually have to use your cell phone to navigate, and you've got to download a giant app, and it just seemed like a big hassle to me. So this is the drone that I bought right here. I've made a few mistakes already in flying this thing, and I wanted to tell you about them. The first mistake that I made is that I did not remove the gimbal cover. I thought that was supposed to stay on, but that's more or less just for keeping it safe during storage. So when you fly for the first time, make sure you remove the gimbal cover. Also, you're going to want to fly on a calm day. I tried to fly on a windy day and the video was basically unusable. It was just shaking around too much, and it wasn't worth the hassle. So this drone does record in 4K or at 60 frames per second, but not both at the same time. Right now you're looking at Mount Blanca, and I'm going to show you a few of the features in this drone. One of the first ones here, I'm going to show you that it can actually zoom in. It has a decent zoom capability, as you can see. And then the next feature I'm going to show you is tilting the gimbal up and down, so you can view higher or lower based on your needs. There we go. Another thing you're going to want to remember is that when you start flying, make sure you hit the record button. I did a flight earlier this morning and completely forgot to record it. There's zoom out. And then there's a button underneath the remote that will actually flip the gimbal down, so you don't have to slowly scroll the gimbal up and down. You can just flip it down quickly. So today I'm flying around my property in Blanca, Colorado. Recently finished building my house, and feels good to be able to getting back to recording some videos for YouTube. So another mistake that I made is that I turned the drone off before I hit the stop record button. So when I pulled my SD card out, the file was actually corrupt, and I jumped online for a solution, and there's a really easy solution. DJI has an autocorrect feature, so all you have to do is turn the drone back on with the SD card in it, let it set for a few minutes, and DJI will automatically repair that file. So that's all I did. Turn the drone on and then back off, and then the file was fine. But anyway, you're going to want to make sure you hit the stop record button. As you can see, I've got a huge wide open area out here. This is the San Luis Valley on a Monday morning. But I'm really happy with this drone. I've got nothing bad to say about it. The first video I recorded, like I said, it was on a windy day, and I forgot to take, I didn't know I had to take the gimbal cover off. And the video was so bad that I thought, man, this is really disappointing. But once I got it figured out, I really enjoy it. So I actually only watched 2 tutorials online, and that was enough knowledge for me to get out and start flying. I do have experience with remote controls when I was a kid, but I don't think that really plays much of a role. There's just a few basic things you got to learn about it, you know. Up goes higher, down goes lower, and then you can move it forward and backward and left and right, and then you can also turn it on its axis left and right as well. And then there's a couple buttons underneath. Like I said, one of the buttons flips the gimbal down, and the other button changes the video orientation to portrait mode. So it's super simple. I would highly recommend just watching a couple tutorials and then getting out and using it. One of the videos I watched, the guy gave really good advice. He says, because it is kind of scary, sometimes the drone gets out of sight and you can't see it and you can't hear it because you're so far away. But he says if you ever get in a scenario where you're just kind of not sure what's going on, just completely let off the controls and the drone will simply just stop in place, and then you can kind of figure out where your drone is at. Do you need to bring it higher or lower? Are you about to hit a tree? And that kind of stuff. One more thing I did want to mention is that the return to home feature is super nice, especially when your drone gets out of sight, but it does not precisely land exactly in the spot where you took off from. As you could see earlier, I have that big piece of plywood because I don't want to land in the sand. And it typically does not land exactly on that piece of plywood. I have to move the plywood as it's coming down. So just know that you might have to adjust your landing pad based on how the drone performs for that return to home function. So I just hit the return to home button right now and it automatically comes over. Based on the altitude safety setting you chose, I think I have mine at maybe 30 meters. It'll climb up to 30 meters, come over to the landing pad, and then go down. And the point of that is to avoid any tall trees or buildings or anything like that. So I'll flip the gimbal down, and as you can see, it does come really close to the takeoff position, but it usually is a few feet off. And like I said, I didn't want to land it in the sand. So I just have to move the plywood, and not a big deal. But I highly recommend this drone. I really love it. I guess the only feature I wish this drone did have is to record in 4K at 60 frames per second like my GoPro does. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching the Nash Potatoes Outdoor Show. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We will see you next time.